Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
And today,
Yeah.
we're going to be looking at something I think is pretty interesting.
Okay.
The origins of English words.
Oh, very cool.
So,
Yeah.
you think about English, it's kind of like this
Yeah.
mishmash of all these different languages.
Exactly.
And so today, we're going to kind of look at how those different languages came together
Yeah.
to form
Right.
what we now think of as English.
Yeah. It's really fascinating when you start to unpack it. It's
Yeah.
like this linguistic tapestry woven over centuries,
Yeah.
borrowing from invaders and scholars and even everyday folks just living their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
What's the bedrock of English? Like, where does it all begin?
Well, we have to start with the Anglo-Saxons.
Okay.
Their language, Old English, forms the foundation of
yeah.
modern English. And even today,
Yeah.
many of our most basic words come directly from them.
Wow. So these are words that, like, we use
Yeah.
every day without even realizing
Yeah.
how old they are.
Like, think about house,
Wow.
man and woman.
It's amazing.
These are all Anglo-Saxon words
Yeah.
that have survived remarkably intact
Wow.
for over 1,000 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It really shows you the lasting impact of the Anglo-Saxons on our language.
And it goes beyond those simple objects, too.
Okay.
Their words really reveal a lot about their culture and values.
Okay. Interesting.
For instance, the word lord
Mhm.
originally meant loaf keeper in Old English.
Loaf keeper.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, like, the person in charge of the bread.
Precisely.
Okay.
So it highlights the importance of food and provision in their society.
Yeah.
The leader wasn't just a warrior or a ruler,
Right?
but someone responsible for sustenance.
Wow. So their title was literally based on making sure everyone was fed.
Yeah, it gives us a glimpse into their whole social structure.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
But the Anglo-Saxons weren't the only ones
Right.
who shaped English,
Right.
right?
Absolutely not.
Other cultures
Yeah.
added their own,
I-
ingredients into this linguistic mix.
Absolutely. The Romans, for instance,
Oh, yeah.
left an indelible mark on English,
Oh, okay.
particularly in areas like law, religion, and
Yeah.
education.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, even someone who's never studied Latin will recognize words like legal
Yes.
or education.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that,
Yeah.
the Roman conquest from all those centuries ago
Right.
still has an echo in our language today.
It's a testament to the power of language
Yeah.
and how it can be used to transmit knowledge and influence across generations.
Yeah, and we can't forget about Christianity,
Of course.
which brought a wave of Latin vocabulary along with it.
Absolutely.
Words like altar,
Yes.
priest, and monk,
Exactly.
all entered English during that time,
hmm
reflecting a major cultural and religious shift.
Yeah, a major shift.
So we've got this blend of,
Oh,
Anglo-Saxon practicality and Roman sophistication.
mhm.
But then English takes kind of a turn
Right.
towards the adventurous,
Yeah.
wouldn't you say?
Indeed.
Um,
Yeah.
The arrival of the Vikings,
The Vikings.
or Norsemen,
The Norsemen. Yeah.
injected a dose of their language
Right.
into English, adding words that we still use daily,
Yeah.
like sky,
Yeah, sky is a great
and
example.
of course window,
Oh, yes.
Which-
Windai.
windai, literally,
Yeah.
in Old Norse.
It's amazing how evocative those words are.
Yeah, they really do have.
They have this raw elemental beauty to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their influence goes beyond just individual words.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Place names,
Place names.
particularly in certain parts of England,
Yes.
are littered with Norse words.
Yes, they are.
Like Thorpe, meaning village,
Yes.
and by, meaning farmstead.
Exactly, like a linguistic map of their historical presence.
Yeah, it's amazing how these place names act as these silent markers
Right.
of the Vikings' journey
Yeah.
across the land.
Across the land.
But history is full of twists and turns, and English is no exception.
No exception at all.
What happened next in this?
Evolution of English.
Yeah, the evolution of English.
Well, in 1066,
Okay,
English experienced a seismic shift
okay,
with the Norman conquest.
right.
The Normans, who spoke a dialect of French, became the ruling class,
Yeah.
and their language flooded into English,
Right.
particularly in domains like government and law
Okay.
and the arts.
So the Norman conquest really was a turning point,
It was.
not just for England's political landscape,
Right.
but for
For its language.
its language as well.
Yeah.
Suddenly English had to accommodate this
A whole new set.
whole new set of words and concepts.
Real concepts, yeah.
And the impact on the legal system
Yeah.
is still evident
Like, yeah,
today.
Absolutely.
Terms like Court,
Yeah.
judge, and jury
all come from Old French.
all come from Old French.
A direct legacy of the Norman conquest.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So English went from this, kind of earthy blend of Anglo-Saxon and Norse to something more, how do we put it?
Yeah.
More refined.
More refined. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Yeah.
How did everyday people handle this sudden influx
That's a great question.
of French words?
Imagine trying to navigate daily life.
Yeah.
When the legal system, the courts, even official documents were suddenly in a language you barely understood.
It must have been so challenging.
It must have been incredibly challenging.
Did English speakers simply adopt these French words?
Well,
Or was there resistance?
it was a combination of both.
Okay.
Some embraced the new words, seeing them as sophisticated or fashionable.
Okay.
Others held on to their Anglo-Saxon vocabulary, perhaps as a way of preserving their own cultural identity.
Right.
It was a complex linguistic dance,
Yeah.
with adaptation and resistance both playing a role.
It makes you wonder how much of our language today reflects those power dynamics of the past.
It really does. Yeah.
Fascinating.
And that's the beauty of studying word origins.
Exactly.
It's not just about memorizing definitions.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering the stories.
The stories.
Power struggles, the cultural exchanges
Yes.
that shaped the very words.
The very words we use.
We use every day.
Every single day.
It's like realizing that each word is a tiny time capsule.
A tiny time capsule. I love that.
Carrying centuries of history within it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
The journey of English didn't end with the Normans.
It did.
We still have the Renaissance,
Yes.
global exploration, and the rise of technology
All
to explore, each adding its own
unique layer to this ever-evolving linguistic tapestry.
this amazing tapestry.
Well, I can't wait to delve further into those later influences who knew that exploring the origin of English words could be such an adventure.
It really is an adventure.
Right.
It's exciting.
This has been truly fascinating.
It has.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
I have a question for our listeners.
Okay.
What's one English word you've always been curious about?
Yeah, what's the story?
What's its story?
Mhm.
Hold on to that thought.
Hold on to that.
Because we'll be back soon
I'll be back.
to continue our exploration of the fascinating world of English word origins.
Fascinating.
Absolutely.
I love it. Welcome back.
So we left off talking about all of these different influences on the English language.
We did. We really did.
And I'm really interested to dig into,
Yeah.
kind of the next chapter in this story.
Right.
Because we kind of left off
Right.
at the cusp of the Renaissance.
Yes. A period of incredible intellectual ferment. It had a profound impact on English.
Yeah.
Especially its vocabulary.
So we're talking about a time when scholars were rediscovering all of these ancient Greek and Roman texts.
Exactly.
How did that influence the language?
Well, imagine a whole new world of knowledge opening up.
Okay.
And these scholars needed words to express these new ideas.
Right.
So they turned to those classical languages, borrowing heavily from Latin and Greek.
So English got a serious upgrade.
I think you could say that.
Linguistically speaking?
Linguistically speaking, a serious upgrade.
Like going from a simple hand-drawn map to a detailed satellite image.
Precisely. Suddenly, English had the vocabulary to discuss complex concepts in science and medicine and philosophy.
So like think about words like biology. Biology is a great example.
Which comes from...
It comes from the Greek bios meaning life.
Right.
And logos meaning study.
Wow.
Yeah, or philosophy.
Oh, from the Greek philosophia, meaning love of wisdom.
Yeah, it's fascinating how these ancient languages became the building block.
The building block.
For modern scientific and intellectual thought.
Exactly. And this influx of classical vocabulary, it didn't just stay in those scholarly circles.
Okay.
It actually trickled down into everyday language.
Oh, wow.
Enriching English with new shades of meaning and expression.
So it's almost like the Renaissance gave English this whole new set of tools, allowing it to become a more
precise,
a precise and versatile language.
More versatile, yeah, absolutely.
But the story doesn't end there.
Doesn't.
English wasn't content to stay within the confines of Europe.
You're right. English was not content to stay put.
Yeah.
As the Renaissance gave way to the age of exploration, English set sail along with those intrepid explorers, encountering New lands, new cultures, and of course, new languages.
So English became this globe-trotting adventurer.
It did.
Picking up souvenirs along the way.
Exactly. Like imagine English sailors landing in India and encountering a type of house they'd never seen before.
Yeah.
They adopted that Hindi word bangla, and it became bungalow in English.
Wow. Or picture them in India enjoying a nice, relaxing head massage.
Yeah.
They take the Hindi word champo,
right,
and it becomes shampoo in English.
Exactly.
It seems like English had a knack for borrowing words that made life more comfortable.
I think that's true.
Or at least more stylish.
More stylish, yeah.
Yeah, even something as comfy as pajamas.
Pajamas, oh yeah.
Comes from the Persian.
From the Persian pajamet, meaning leg garment.
Wow, and let's not forget about all the culinary delights.
Yes.
English acquired on its travels.
So many culinary delights.
Tea from Chinese.
Yes.
Coffee from Arabic. And, of course, chocolate.
Chocolate from the Nahuatl language of the Aztec.
One of my favorites.
Yes. Yet another reason to appreciate the global tapestry of English.
Absolutely.
But even with all of these historical influences,
yeah,
English never stopped evolving.
It never did.
In the modern era.
Yes.
Technology and pop culture have become
huge
forces shaping the language.
Absolutely. The digital age brought this wave of new terms.
Right.
Like internet.
Yeah.
A blend of international and network.
Oh, wow.
And then there's blog.
Okay.
A mashup of web and log.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget the selfie.
The selfie.
Which needs no explanation.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't.
And it's not just tech terms.
Yeah.
Popular culture, from movies, music to social media, constantly throws new words and phrases into the mix.
It's always changes.
I mean, think about how quickly meme became part of everyday language.
It's incredible.
It really is.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
English is constantly adapting.
And evolving.
Yeah. It truly is a living language.
It's a living language reflecting that ever-changing world around us.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've seen how English started with this Anglo-Saxon base.
Yes.
And then layered on influences from Latin, Norse, French.
Yes.
And then countless other languages from around the world.
It's amazing.
It's incredible how much history and culture are packed into the words we use every day.
It really is.
And this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip.
Every word has its own story to tell.
Has its own story.
A journey through time and across cultures.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for us?
Yeah.
The everyday word users.
That's a great question.
Why should we even care about the origin of words?
Well, for one thing...
Besides the fact that it's totally fascinating.
Yes. Besides that... Understanding word origins can actually help you learn new words more easily.
That makes sense.
Yeah, by recognizing those common roots and prefixes and suffixes, you can often decipher the meaning of unfamiliar words.
It's like having a secret decoder ring.
A secret decoder ring.
For the English language.
I love that analogy. It's perfect.
So, for example, if you know that the prefix bio means life, then words like biology, biography, biohazard suddenly become much easier to understand.
Exactly. It unlocks this whole new level of understanding.
Yeah.
And not just for individual words,
right,
but for the connections between them.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just vocabulary.
It does.
Understanding word origins can give you a much deeper appreciation.
A deeper appreciation.
For the richness and complexity of the English language.
It's like suddenly seeing the world in high definition.
Yeah, it's like realizing that every word is this little time capsule carrying with it centuries of history,
of culture,
and meaning.
And
that's a powerful realization.
It is a powerful realization.
Yeah.
It really transforms how we think about language and maybe even how we think about the world itself.
Okay, my brain is officially blown.
I'm glad.
I'm never going to look at words the same way again.
That's the goal.
Okay, so now that we're all fired up about word origins, where can we go to actually learn more? Are we talking dusty libraries and ancient scrolls?
Well, those are always an option for the truly dedicated, but luckily in the digital age, we have much easier tools at our disposal. Online, etymological dictionaries are a fantastic starting point.
Etymological dictionaries? Those sound a little intimidating.
Not at all. They're actually designed to be quite user-friendly, and they can unlock a treasure trove of information about a word's history and its meaning and its evolution. You can really trace a word's journey through time, across languages, even see how its meaning has shifted over the centuries.
Okay, that actually sounds really cool. It's like having a time machine for words.
It really is.
So are there any other ways to kind of uncover the hidden stories behind the words we use every day?
Absolutely. One of the best ways is simply to pay attention to the world around you. Look for words and place names like we talked about with the Viking influence. Notice words on menus, the names of dishes, and think about where they might have come from.
That's a great point. It's like turning everyday life into a giant word puzzle.
Exactly. You never know what linguistic gems you might uncover.
You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to get curious.
Yeah.
If a word catches your attention, look it up.
Okay.
You might be surprised at the fascinating stories you discover.
This deep dive has been such an eye-opener. I'm looking at words in a whole new light now. It's like realizing that each word has this hidden depth, a story waiting to be told.
And the more we understand about where our words come from, the more we understand about ourselves, our history, and the intricate ways in which language shapes our world.
Well said. If words are windows into the past, what will you discover about the origins of your favorite words?
Keep exploring, and you might be surprised by what you find lurking beneath the surface of those everyday words we take for granted.
That's a fantastic thought to leave our listeners with. So, dear word nerds and curious minds, go forth and delve into the fascinating world of etymology. Until next time, happy word hunting.